Okay, as always, first things first. You probably heard this before, it happened like 2 weeks ago or so, and everybody mentioned it already, so a character from Blizzard's Overwatch had a victory animation removed because it was quote unquote sexist. And the reason behind this accusation is the way her ass is pointing the camera in a somewhat sexy way, which is, of course, unacceptable. How can you let a strong female character from an online shooter become yet another sex icon, blah blah blah. You can probably tell which side of the controversy I'm in at this point, so I'm not making the entire video on it. Instead, this controversy had me thinking about what makes a female character likable under my criteria, to present different examples of why whether a female character is sexy or not doesn't affect her acceptableness in such a big way. Of course, if a character is more visually pleasing, it becomes more likable, but its looks aren't everything. If you make a gorgeous character that is absolutely disgusting in terms of personality for any reason, the only people that are going to like it are those posers who didn't play the game and didn't get to know how that character really is. You'll notice some details shared by most of the characters in this list. For example, most of these ladies are my main characters or characters that I play very often in their respective games. Most of their color palettes are similar, and most of them aren't human or they have non-human traits lore-wise, which means they have humanoid looks but certain details about them are off. You'll understand what I mean when I get to it. Also, most of them come from fighting games. Anyway, you'll also notice some diversity in their designs. Let's get to it already. The first woman on the list is Yuri Han from the Street Fighter series. She's one of the villains from the franchise, but only seeks her own profit and would fight other villains to achieve what she wants anyway. Sure, looking at her design you could say, wow, that character is sexualized because of the skin she's showing or the way she moves. And I wouldn't exactly say you're wrong, but that's not the reason why I like her. When I first looked at the Super Street Fighter 4's roster, I looked for a character that looked good, and the first character that I liked was Yuri. Looking at this picture exactly, which is the first I saw of her, except for the face in the game's cover, I liked her unusual hairstyle, her color palette. Sure, you can change the colors, but the way the colors are combined aesthetically amuses me. I didn't like it because I would like to bang her. Shit, she's sadistic and violent. I like her because she looks good and kicks ass, and she eventually became my main. That doesn't sound like a sexual object to me. By the way, as I said before, she has a non-human trait, and that is one of her eyes, which is fake. And that's right, guys, I like a character that's disabled. No, just joking. Her left eye is fake, but it gives her superhuman strength and speed. And also, she likes boobs, so she is somewhat a lesbian. Second on the list is Alisa Voskonovich from Tekken. Not as sexy as Yuri, but also not human. She's a fucking robot that can fly, rocket punch, and has chainsaw arms that are inspired by Ash, the hero of the Evil Dead franchise, who is one of my favorite movie heroes, if not my favorite. She's very fun to play, and I find her moveset really easy to use. Her design, gameplay-wise, is very creative and unique compared to most Tekken characters who can't use superhuman techniques. Alisa has this really goofy move where she detaches her head and uses it as a bomb. I like her as a comedic character, but in the end, the balance between her innocent looks and nature and the way that she literally is a killing machine is what I find actually interesting. I usually like characters with this kind of ironic contrast. The third character on the list is a bit special because I got to like her because of a change in her design. This character is Mileena from the Mortal Kombat franchise. I didn't like her at all design-wise until her redesign for Mortal Kombat X. However, as I said a minute ago, I like characters with some kind of contrast, and in Mileena's case, This contrast takes the form of a sexy, attractive, quote-unquote woman that in reality has monster traits behind her mask, because lore-wise she's half Tarketan, the same race as Baraka. After her redesign, her clothes got way less sexy, which is good for me because I thought her design was too sexy to fit the character. The designers working on Mortal Kombat X had her backstory into account when making her design, so they made the clothes she's wearing more appropriate for the character. Everyone wins in this case. Also, she got lips, which is helpful if she wants to speak at all. Long story short, Warrior Empress that in reality is a beast. Not a sex symbol, just a female character that looks good and kicks ass. And my main. Okay, now check this out because shit's getting tricky. Now we're talking about Darkstalkers, a game that, if I follow the social justice warrior rule that says men like sexualized female characters, I would instantly pick Morrigan. Sure, she is sexualized, but that's because she's a goddamn succubus, a demon whose goal in life is to fuck men. Or, according to the rules I said before, I'd choose Baby Hood, the younger version of Little Red Riding Hood, but neither of those chicks is my favorite. Instead, I'm super into Cienko. I even got this amazing figure I'm in love with. What's so good about her? Of course, it's not her boob window, the character would be exactly the same without that detail. Her clothes aren't exactly sexy either, and her personality doesn't hide any surprising contrast, but I think she's super original as a character for the time that game went out. Her clothes reflect her lore and personality, her movements also do. It's very rare to see any character based on ancient Chinese Jiangxi, and she's got huge metal claws. She hides all sorts of weapons and projectiles inside her sleeves and throws them, and that allows for some cartoony moves. She's cool. And main. Now we're talking about Skullgirls, a game full of sexualized female characters, just because that's somewhat the premise of the game itself, even though the only two playable male characters are in my favorite lists. Peacock is really fun because of her humor, but I don't enjoy playing as her that much, so I gotta go with Valentine. Why? Because you can see her underwear when she kicks, because you can see that she's not wearing a bra in certain animations, because of those sexual innuendos. Nah, I just like her because I tried playing as her and I found it, quote unquote, quite amusing, that's all. Playing as her is cool. Her moves are also interesting because of the Norse theme and that shit. That's well designed. Main. Sixth on the list is Abba from Guilty Gear. In this case she's not my main, I prefer Sol or Jam Kuradaberi, but I often play as her anyway. She is inspired by fantasy creatures known as homunculi? I don't know. Homunculus in singular, which are artificial human beings created using alchemy. You could say her body is sexy, but the color of her skin looks like she is sick, and her face is, well, not pretty. She is somewhat ugly, you could say. What do I like about her? I don't really know, to be honest. She carries a giant living key, and the soul inhabiting that key is actually a character named Paracelsus. And Dava thinks Paracelsus is her husband, so she wants to protect him and find him a new human-like body. I probably feel attracted to her because she is shy and kind, and yet she doesn't know about interacting with the world and other people. Her voice is weird, but helps develop her traits as a character. She's not complicated, and I feel the empathy for her innocence. Yeah, that's probably the reason why I like her. There are many other games and characters we can talk about. We have Freya from Smite, Queen of the Valkyries, sexy outfit and all, but when we look at this skin called Pixel Buster, things get real. You notice how her outfit isn't as revealing as the original one? Well, if you take that and the fact that this design is inspired by retro games, especially Mega Man, into account, this makes her my favorite female characters in the game. Zero Suit Samus as depicted in Smash Bros. Sorry, but I'm not into Metroid as much as I'm into Smash. Sexy? Maybe, but it's a Nintendo game after all. So even if she is sexy, The character itself isn't sexualized. I just like playing as her anyway. As I said, I'm not a Metroid guy. I don't care about the character. Hell, if I only played as characters that I like, I'd only play as Little Mac. Smash is probably the only game where I play as characters that I don't really like just because they are fun to play or I'm good at playing as them. We mentioned Jam from Guilty Gear, but there's also Bridget, who is actually a man raised as a female. The only clue you get is the symbol on the cloth he wears on his head, whatever this thing's called. Or Raiden, who has certain androgynous traits and even quote-unquote wears high heels. He doesn't exactly wear them because he's a cyborg. He doesn't wear clothes. The armor is part of his body. I could make another video about androgynous or transsexual characters, but because I don't want to start a whole new conversation now. Back to the beginning, I'm gonna tell you what I think about Tracer. First of all, the whole censorship thing almost turned her into a meme. I just saw the Overwatch trailer while visiting the local game store with some friends and we were like, lol, haha, bats XD, ilmao. One of them even said he would play as Tracer just to joke about her ass. Because we can't take the censorship about her seriously. I wouldn't have removed the post from the game at all, but if you ask me what I would do, I'd say I like some details about Tracer. She has this jacket thing going on, pretty cool. Her hair is tomboyish, I like that. She has cyborg arms or robot armor in her arms, something like that. I don't really know what that is, but it looks good to me. What about these spandex pants? Well, I don't like it that much, but I wouldn't tell someone to change it because it's not perfect for my specific taste. If I had to decide something about her design, I would give her pants. That's it. I'm not into spandex pants, so I'd give her shorts that match her jacket. That's it. I wouldn't do anything else, and I don't think an extra piece of clothing that actually matches her current clothes would ruin her design. It would just be better for me and just me. Probably some people would agree, and I'm sure many other people would disagree and attack me because of this, and that's just how internet opinions work. Shorts would actually hide her booty a little bit, so fuck off, everyone wins. Well, I'm going to stop now. I've been rambling for quite a bit and I can always make another video if I want to talk more on the subject or any other similar topic. Please leave your opinion in a comment if you feel like it. I'd be interested in hearing what everyone has to say and what you think about my opinions on this topic. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in another video. Bye.